go to their website and see that their site is about shrimp farming, then I want to click on their data to mark that this customer is interested in shrimp, for example. Later on, they'll be able to categorize my entire customer list to see how many customers are interested in shrimp, how many are interested in fish, or how many are interested in other products. Welcome everyone to the third module in the series about ERM, specifically in the import section on how to add any view in the HubBox GRM. First, I will help you understand the difference between a property and an object, so that when you make adjustments or want to customize or add any view, you'll know which property or object it belongs to. An object is an entity, and in the first lesson you learned that there are three main objects in HubSpot: contact, company, and deal. These objects are referred to in English as the main categories or types of records. So, you can think of an object as something like a main category. For example, within the contact category, there are smaller information fields. The contact itself is called an object, while the smaller fields are called properties. Properties are specific fields or columns within an object, meaning the smaller fields inside an object are called properties. So, for a contact object, you'll have various properties such as first name, last name, email, and so on. So, you'll understand that the field you create will usually be a property. A property means an attribute or a field, and typically properties must belong to a specific object. So before you create one, you need to determine which object your property belongs to. For example, let's say I need to create a view. Field view is a property. Let's say the category property is attached to the contact object. So whenever you create a property, you need to associate it with a specific object. And for this property, I need to create. It allows you to select one of three values, which are streamed, fish, and others. What does that mean? For example, when a customer contacts us, I want to check to see about this customer. For instance, if a customer reaches out to us about seafood, they contact us regarding seafood, and I go to their website and see that their site is about shrimp farming, then I want to click on their data to mark that this customer is interested in shrimp, for example. Later on, it'll be able to categorize my entire customer list to see how many customers are interested in shrimp, how many are interested in fish, or how many are interested in other products. Additionally, when you create reports, you can also easily customize your reports based on this section. For example, later on, if you want to know exactly what percentage of your total revenue comes from shrimp products or customers interested in shrimp, you can generate a report using this file, the one we just created, to build your report. They'll do a quick demo for you so you can see how it works. And from this demo, you can completely adjust the fields as you wish based on your own sample field. Now let's go to HubSpot to create a view. You just need to click on this gear icon. For me, by this gear icon, then scroll down to the Properties section. This Properties section. Here, you'll see an option called Create Property. Click on Create Property. Next, you'll choose a property label. For example, here I need a field called Interested Category. Personally, I always try to keep things as simple as possible. For instance, with interested category here, actually, I want to make it shorter, so I just name it category to keep it as brief as possible. The longer or more complicated you make it, the harder it will be to follow up later. So I simply use category to keep things straightforward. Next, please remember that earlier I mentioned this requirement. The field I want to create must be included in the contact object. Actually, here you can choose to place it in deal, contact, or company. Select the relevant objects that the field belongs to. For example, here I want to select it to be in the contact section. Or if later on you want to categorize or classify it for reporting purposes like revenue reports in deal, You can also create it in Deltat's totally fine. It depends on your needs. But for Vi's current need, these are customers who are contacting us for the first time, or maybe I just found them online and haven't had any deals with them yet. That's why I don't want to put it in the deal object. It'll just put it in the contact section. Now, in the description part, you can write something like the category of food known as seafood. That customers are interested in the seafood category, the fields that you specifically want to show or display, which means the type of data you want to include. For example, here I select multiple text. Text means you manually enter data. Usually for this kind of categorization, don't choose text since it's for data you type in. Instead, select a single text box or multiple text box. With the text box, you click to select, and if you choose multiple, it means, for example, if a customer wants both shrimp and fish for a product, you can select both options. That way it makes more sense, right? So for the first option, it'll choose shrimp, for instance. Then it'll add a second option like fish and a third option, others, to categorize any other types my clips might have. That's all there is to it. Once you're done, everyone, there's a rule here. Let's take a look at what this rule is. Click Review. It looks like this. Make selections, and when ready, click Create. All right. At that point, you can try clicking on one of them. Any policy to check whether this field has been added to your policy as required. So let's click on a policy right here. When you click on it, you'll see that your interface still doesn't show up everyone. The word category still isn't displayed here. So now, if you want to bring it out, it'll guide you on how to display it right in this policy interface. Please click on the gear icon for me. Select Edit Card. These are the fields that are currently displayed on the policy interface, and now I want to bring out the category field. So it'll click here on Add Property. Here you add it, select Category, and when you close it, it will appear. Just click on it. When you click on it, it will show up right here. Now, you just need to move it up if you want it to appear above, for example, above company name. This way, you can categorize it, then click Save. Then click Save and Exit. Now, when you go back to this interface, you'll see that right below company name, there's the category field. At this point, you can select any option you want. You've categorized this list as shrimp, fish, or another category. If you're working with fruit, select if the customer wants frozen or fresh fruit, etc. For wood products, choose accordingly. For example, categorize as furniture, interior items, or tools. This way, classify products or lists as needed and control how you organize them. So, I've just finished sharing how you can customize or add any field to your own CRM database. From here, you can really play around and experiment with it as much as you like. I hope my sharing will be helpful for those of you who are currently using or about to start using CRM in your import-export work. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.